So today I'm going to cover the kettlebell getup, and this is one of four foundational kettlebell exercises that every kettlebell training must learn. And I'm going to start with the getup because number one, I think it's foundational to the other lifts, but it's also fairly complicated to learn at first. But today I'm going to walk you through the real simple steps to get you to performing a kettlebell getup with load, which I'm going to demonstrate today. But before you get into performing kettlebell getups with a load, it's really important that you learn the fundamentals with the shoe. And we call these naked getups. And the reason it's important to learn the getup with a shoe, which I'm going to demonstrate, is there aren't any consequences in the event that you failed. So a kettlebell getup, or even used with a dumbbell, is self-limiting, meaning that if you don't have the integrity in your shoulders and your body to perform the exercise, you could drop the weight on your head. And so with the shoe, I'm going to now demonstrate the techniques needed. So you can use any athletic shoe when you perform getups. You want to make sure that the sole is fairly flat. And because we're going to balance this on the hand, as you'll see here. And of course, you wouldn't want to use high heels or boots or anything. And this shoe here, it's a typical athletic cross-training shoe. And we're going to start this exercise by placing the shoe on the palm, or you're just going to make a fist and put it right on the top of your fist. And I recommend that you start with your dominant side. If you're right-handed, use your right hand to start. And what we're going to do is I'm going to push this shoe straight to the ceiling. And you'll notice my arm is completely vertical. If I lose my vertical positioning of my arm, the shoe's going to fall. And likewise with the kettlebell, when you have load, you're likely to drop the weight, which could really injure your shoulder or other joints of your body. So this is again why it's important to start with the shoe. So you'll notice that the shoe, my arm is vertical and the shoe is placed on my fist. And anytime you're doing get-ups, if I'm using my right arm, I'm going to bend my right knee and my left leg is extended outwards about 45 degrees to my body. My left or free arm matches the angle of the leg. And we're simply going to sit up to the forearm. I'm also going to keep the coaching cues very simple. I'm not going to use big words. We're just going to talk about the basic movements. So we're starting by driving up to the left forearm. And notice I'm pushing through my right heel and my left heel respectively. And I'm using the muscles of my torso here on the left side to drive up to the forearm. My head is tall. My gaze is fixed on the ceiling. And now I'm going to come up to the left hand. So forearm to hand, and at this point I'm going to sweep my left knee under my body. Again, I'm going to sweep the left knee across the ground and right under my body. I'm going to straighten my body up, keeping that arm vertical so I don't drop the shoe. At this point, I'm going to walk my right foot over, square out my body. I'm going to drive to the ceiling. My arm is vertical. I'm going to drop the left knee to the ground. Right foot over, left hand to the ground, kick my left leg, sit to the forearm, to the back. Until you can perform a get-up with the shoe, do not use weight. Now, moving on to load, we're going to pull. I'm going to start with this kettlebell here on the right side. And it's really important when you perform get-ups with a kettlebell that you keep your wrists straight. Do not flex or extend the wrist, even though initially this is going to feel natural to you. You want to make sure for wrist health that you keep the wrist straight. It'll also increase the integrity and strength of your shoulder as you perform the exercise. When you start with load, it's really, really important to start in a fetal position. Also note that I'm wearing a sweatshirt today, which for novices, this is a good way to start
because it increases the padding on your wrist. It'll make it a little more comfortable when you're learning, and your forearm will feel pressure at first, but you will adapt to this, and this is natural. So again, I'm going to thread my hand through the weight, and notice again my wrist is very straight, and I'm going to keep the load very close to my body. Don't ever try to lift a weight when it's far away, to keep, again, your shoulder health in place. So in a fetal position, I'm going to grab the weight. I'm going to put my left hand on top just to ease into position. I'm on my back. And then it's good to use both hands to push up. Of course, you can use one arm, but again, safety. Use both hands when driving up to guide the weight. You're completely vertical now. And again, from here, it's the same thing. I'm going to drive through the right foot, left heel, left side of my torso, and sit up to the left forearm. The weight's vertical, up to the hand, knee under, hand off the ground. I'm going to walk my right foot over so my body's square. And from this position, I'm going to drive up through my right leg. Left knee to the ground, right foot over, left hand to the ground. I'm going to kick my left leg out, sit down to the forearm, down to the back, left hand on the weight, control the weight to the ground, roll over, ditch the weight. It's also important when you're transitioning from one side of the exercise to the other that you drag the weight behind your head. Do not ever try to pull the weight across your face, because you could put yourself at risk for dropping on your head. So always drag the weight behind the head. Now, the left side, it's the same thing. Wrist straight, fetal position. Right hand on top, roll to the back, push the weight up, and now we're just reversing the side. We're going to go up to the forearm, keep the arm tall, up to the hand. Slide the right knee underneath your hips. Right hand off the ground. Walk the feet over, square your body up, and drive up to the top. Right knee to the ground. Walk the left leg over, right hand to the ground. Kick the left leg, or right leg rather. Sit to the forearm, to the back. Down to the ground, roll over to the side and get rid of the weight. That's your kettlebell getup. And for starting weights, I typically recommend for novice trainees, females generally start with around 20 pounds or a little less, and males, if you're an average to strong male, you want to start with a 16 kilogram or a 35 pound weight. And the other thing is too, generally with this exercise, you want to keep the volume low. The amount of time it takes to perform the entire getup is quite long in duration, so you don't need a lot of repetitions. Usually no more than 5 repetitions per side will get you there. Hey, thanks for joining today. We'll talk next time.